Welcome back to Road to Fire. We're a family of four documenting our journey to FIRE, financial independence, retire early. Let's chat about 4 ways we increased our income. I will share details on how we went from a household income of $32,000 to over $370,000, 4 steps we took to increase our income, and our projected income for 2024 with all real numbers like always, so please hang with me. So in 2010, our household income was $32,000. I just graduated from undergrad, my husband still had 2 years of school due to his double major, and I was struggling to find a job. Despite having a double major, no company was interested in hiring me. I was able to get a job as a parking manager downtown. Think about when you go downtown and park in a ramp and you lose your parking ticket and need to press the button to reach someone for help. Well, that was me. I was the person helping people park their cars, letting them out when they didn't have their parking tickets, and navigating traffic for big events. It definitely was a humbling job. I remember parking the cars for my collegiate friends who had big-time downtown jobs. 6 months later, I finally got a job offer that changed my life, but we didn't start out as high earners. Today, our income is over $370,000, and if you're looking to hear about how we 10x'd our income in 1 year, then this isn't the channel for you. It took us 14 years to get where we are today. And we went through living in 4 different states, living apart for almost 2 years, layoffs, job transitions, downsizing, and the list goes on. Building our income was a process. Now, I know this isn't the rhetoric plastered all over social media today. We live in a wealth today or get rich now mentality, but it took us time to become high earners. We also didn't become intentional in increasing our income until about 7 years ago. And when we found FIRE, things became serious. We focused on 4 simple things to help us increase our income. Now, most of our steps have long-term benefits that we are finally reaping, but these 4 steps have helped us maintain a high income. We have also always, by choice, lived in a lower cost of living location, so our money is working double time for us. We are finally seeing the benefits now. But first, let's do a quick background on who we are in case you're new here and to better understand our income trajectory. So we're a family of 4 living in the Midwest, and my husband is 36, working as a project engineer with a double major in electrical and mechanical engineer, and he is PMP certified. And I'm 35, and I lead innovation at a mid-sized CPG company with a BA in finance and marketing and an MBA with a marketing concentration. We manage our finances 100% jointly and have always since we got married back in 2012. Our goal is to reach FIRE by the end of 2030 with $3.1 million net worth. Today, we are 30% to our goal, but our income has helped us propel our journey, especially in the last few years. So here's a quick snapshot of our income trajectory from 2013 to 2023. This looks at our tax returns over time, not our gross income. So in 2013, just a few months after we got married, our joint income was $116,000. And in 2023, last year, our income was over $370,000. Now, it took 10 years, but we finally tripled our income. But this didn't come with changes and adjustments along the way. Here are a few things I can remember because going back 10 years is definitely hard, and I can barely remember what happened last week. I definitely had to work with my husband on this slide to better understand our income adjustments over time. So in 2016, I obtained my MBA, which nearly increased my income by over $40,000. The following year, my husband got his PMP certification, which helped him apply and get a better job as well. In 2019, we did have job loss, so half the year we were short about 50% of our overall income. But in 2020, COVID hit, and at the time, I was working for a company that made hand sanitizers and cleaning products. And as you can imagine, sales were booming, and I got a bonus that was almost the size of my annual salary. In 2020, we rented out our duplex and started heavy with side hustles. And in 2023, I got my new job that I currently have that propelled my income. Now, we didn't have a linear path, but we always had an upward trajectory. But I'm proud of all we have done, and this came with 2 kids and 4 moves across 3 states. It's not easy, but no regrets. So what did we do to increase our income? Well, the first thing we did was job hopping. At the time, I didn't know we were job hopping as I was just going where the better offer or opportunity arose. My husband and I have worked at over a dozen companies, and some of it was by design and some of it was just because life was lifing. But what we did intentionally was gain experience across a breadth of companies. We both started in Fortune 100 companies that put a stamp of gold on our resume. We then moved across different types of companies and sizes, gaining different skills and experiences along the way. We both worked in startups and mid-sized companies. I worked at one of the largest privately owned companies in the world. We worked across different industries and functions, building a solid resume along the way. Now, we usually stayed about 2.5 years on average at a job, and then a new opportunity arose. And to be honest, most of my opportunities came from a soft connection on LinkedIn. In fact, over half of the jobs that I had were not jobs I applied for. Job hopping came with sign-on bonuses, bigger salaries, profit sharing, equity, and better compensation packages that helped us increase our overall income. But I do regret leaving one job due to vesting. I received the biggest bonus of my life, but I was also itching to get back home during the height of COVID. I also didn't want to go back into the office, and my company at the time was pushing this, and this was the tail end of 2020. But we did leave and head back home, and on top of missing out on a great compensation package working on established brands, I missed out on over $40,000 on stock options that were vested after 5 years. Now I know job hopping has a negative connotation, but when you see or experience a layoff, or you know people who have dedicated their lives to a company and then see them let go on a simple Friday or Thursday afternoon, then you begin to realize that you are just a little line item for a company, especially larger companies. Job hopping does come with some drawbacks. You lose the equity you have built, your relationships suffer, or you have to rebuild them all over again at a new company. You also have to relearn a new industry, culture, product, or service, which is definitely tiring. Sometimes a new job comes with a new move, meaning you have to refine everything from daycare to your church to where you shop for groceries. It's not easy, these transitions, and sometimes I think about how life would have been different if we had stayed at some of these companies longer. But if we didn't make the choices we did, we wouldn't be where we are today. We could be farther, or we could be not as far, who knows? But I wouldn't change it because I'm happy and content with the progress we've made so far and where we are today. Okay, number 2 is real estate. I bought my first property over 10 years ago. It was about $150,000, 3,000 square footage duplex with 2 long-term tenants. Only something you can find in the Midwest. I think I put down 5% and was a landlord in my early 20s. Till this day, I'm not sure what drove me to get this property. This was years before I found FIRE, but I must have had a personal hunch about building wealth. Now, I didn't enjoy being a landlord. I had 2 evictions and no experience of being a landlord, and so it was tough in the first couple of years. I soon got a property manager and we moved out of the state. Things were going well, but after I got my MBA, I wanted to pay off my student loan, so I sold that property. In hindsight, moment of silence for that property, things would have been different. Anyways, we made about $80,000 on it, and it helped us propel our journey and increase our income. Our second property took much longer to get, almost 8 years later to be exact. It was a house hack that then shifted into a rental. And that rental today brings in over $3,000 a month, or about $400 a month after expenses. This has definitely helped us increase our income over time. Number 3 is side hustles. Now today we use a fancy word called side hustles, but when I was a kid we called it second or third jobs. When I was little, my dad worked as a janitor in the morning, went to school during the day, and then he was a parking attendant at night. Now we didn't call it a side hustle back then, we just said that my dad had 2 or 3 jobs. Side hustling isn't new. Every generation has done it and we just have different names for it. But we really went overboard on side hustles or finding new streams of income in the last 2 years. We had our 9 to 5s, then we had our 5 to 9s, and even our 9 to 12s. We were and are still very hungry to help increase our income. Now, balance is something we're working on right now. So here are a few types of side hustles we have done in the past, everything from ride sharing with Uber to consulting, short-term contracts for higher hourly rates, to even online selling. Yes, we used to flip furniture. All these forms of side hustles has helped us increase our income over time. We've since narrowed this list down and focused on skill-based work that brings in a higher ROI for us. Okay, last but not least is continuous learning. There is one thing to get a degree and there's another thing to stay up to date on it. We have focused on ways to stay current in both of our fields. Now, I work in marketing, and I would be lying if I told you I didn't take a course on AI. It's really important to make sure I'm up to date on all the changes that are happening in my career. And my husband not only got his PMP certification, but takes leadership and project management classes annually. Staying current in our field has helped us become more marketable and more valuable for our company. These soft skills and sometimes technical skills sets us apart from others and has helped us continue to increase our income. Now, I love learning because I know the ROI is there, and we've seen the returns in our careers over time. Luckily for us, my company subsidized these services, so it's a win-win either way. In the last year, we have used Masterclass and LinkedIn Learning classes to make sure we are staying current in our ever-changing fields. These investments don't have a direct or easy to quantify return, but I know this has helped us land jobs that have increased our income over time. Okay, so what ways have you increased your income and what is your current side hustle? We've tried many things. I used to be a serial survey taker. Yep, a serial survey taker. At first, I would take every survey I can during my free time at work, and then I realized that research or college-based surveys paid more. At my peak, I was making over $250 a month just by taking surveys. It's funny to share, but if you're really hungry to make additional income, then you'll definitely find a way. But today, we have now narrowed down and focused a few key ways to increase our income. It came down to how many hours we were putting against how much we were making. Because we have kind of hit the base on our expenses, we will continue to focus on increasing our income. Our next big venture is looking into buying a business. Now, we were close on one business, but the STE after further evaluation wasn't making sense. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous when it comes to buying a business, but the plan would be that my husband will run it, quit his current job, so we will have looked into an industry that aligns with his current capabilities. I like our current plan. We will keep on this plan at least for the next couple of years, and as we get closer to FIRE, I hope to pull back on some of these side hustles and switch to a more balanced approach. Now, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. Until next time.